Hello and welcome to the special program of National Herald on YouTube channel. My guest today is Mr. Nilanjan Mukhopadyay, a very senior journalist, author, scholar of many books on politics of Hindutva and BJP. Welcome, Nilanjan Saab.
Thank you, Zafar Bhai. It's a pleasure to speak to you, on your channel.
I'm glad that you joined us. Nilanjan, of course, you know you are a well-known scholar, established author. You have written 5 books, I think six.
That's right.
Six is on the pipeline on politics of Hindutva. You have been following BJP and Hindutva politics since 1990s, writing, reporting, authoring books. So I would like you to enlighten our viewers on this program on the future course of politics that BJP may have during the run-up to the elections, in assembly elections due next year, and the final big battle in 2024 for parliamentary elections. How do you look at what course of politics the country is going to witness in the times to come?
No, I think to start off, I would like to say start by saying, that the recently concluded elections in 5 states, for me, it was a test case that on what basis are people going to be making their electoral choice?
Right.
Would they be making it on the basis of the material condition? Would they be making it on the basis of performance of the government, on the state of their personal economies, on their livelihood concerns? Or are they going to be driven by a larger narrative which is rooted in the past and talks about a utopian future?
What we used to generally call the normal parameters of analyzing an election, like economic condition, anti-incumbency and all. You mean to say that whether they voted on that or they voted on the basis
exactly. I'm saying that this was a very important test case because this was the first major round of elections which were coming after the devastating second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Very right.
At a time when the performance of the government was completely abysmal, to actually use a word, both in of the center as well as the state government, especially the state government of Uttar Pradesh, the largest state where the elections were held at this particular time. We know that how dead bodies were flowing down rivers, how the government was, its performance was marked by its absence during the entire second wave, starting from April till sometime around June, that period. So for me,
in normal situation, there should have been a very heavy anti-incumbency factor against the Adityanath government in normal situations.
Not just Adityanath government, even the fact that the Uttarakhand government, even Goa government, in Goa, also COVID management was not very good, and, of course, in Manipur, there was hardly any opposition. In Goa, there was an opposition. The verdict is that way because essentially the anti-BJP vote got divided in Goa. So I'm not, but for me, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh were important. Would people vote on the basis, what I say figuratively, on the basis of their empty stomachs and their absolutely barren wallets? They have not done that. They have not done that. And instead they have actually, to use it very bluntly, they have built on this idea that they're a very majoritarian agenda. And in this entire campaign, law and order has been a basic issue which has been flagged by the BJP. I say that the word criminal has been made into a virtual synonym with the Muslim in India by the BJP, and this got very well established in the course of this campaign.
Do you mean that the BJP succeeded in conveying the message that when they talk of law and order, it means Muslims, and fixing law order means fixing the Muslim?
Yes, exactly. The BJP has perfected the art of blowing the dog whistle. They say something which we know is what is the intention. They don't use such words, but that is always communicated. So when
the art of conveying, what do they mean?
when Yogi Adityanath right in the beginning said, that this is essentially a fight between 80% and 20%, I don't think that there was any doubt left that what he was talking about. He was essentially talking about that
even for an illiterate voter.
Everyone knows that approximately 20% of the people in Uttar Pradesh are Muslims and the 80% are Hindus. Everyone knows that. You don't really have to use such words very specifically. So this is as communal as you can get, and you have a completely appliant election commission, which does not even look at these as extremely provocative words, that creating animosity on the basis of religion.
Why do you call pliant election commission?
Because we have seen that how consistently this election commission has not paid any regard, not issued notices to several instances where hate speech has been used by the top BJP leaders during the campaign. This was not the first election where it happened. This has been going on with increasing frequency since 2014. What we are seeing since 2014, if you look at it as a graph, the integrity of the election commission has been on a continuous decline since 2014.
You mean to say that you suspect that the election commission has not been fair and has been tilting in favor of the BJP?
I think it's reflective of a general, decline in institutional integrity in India over the last 8 years.
You're right. A lot of opposition leaders and columnists have been pointing out that. Well, now coming back to the basic point that what is going to happen now? What will be the shape of politics in times to come in next 2-3 years?
I am seeing, that, I've been writing on Ayodhya from the time that it became a major national issue in the mid-1980s.
Yes, I know that. You've been not just covered it, but wrote books as well.
My latest book has come out on where I look at Ayodhya in its entirety, my book called The Demolition and the Verdict, as to the project which has reconfigured India. This is what I say, that it is actually completely reconfigured. We have a new hard drive.
You were the first ones, I remember, who said that Ayodhya has changed the politics for time.
Yes, exactly. I remember, my discussions with you at that time, that I should say that this is going to be one agenda where, the face of India will change. And I remember still carry with me one particular statement which you made many, many years ago, about 35 years ago, that you interact in too detail with the leaders of the Sangh Parivar. So you allow their thinking to dominate your thinking. But, this is something, which I hate pointing out.
And you proved prophetic, I must say.
Yeah, this is something,
I stand corrected.
I hate to say that I was correct in hindsight, but, I wish I had been wrong. Yeah. But unfortunately, that is what has happened. And, we have now a situation where for the last 3.5 decades, exactly 35 years ago, my last book, I was doing the proof. As I was doing the proofs, I turned 60. And it suddenly struck me that I was in my mid-20s when I went to Ayodhya for the first time after the lock of the Babri Masjid was opened and Hindu devotees were allowed. Right. 35 years have elapsed since then. And today, 60% of India's population, even more than 60%, are people who are less than 35. So mind you, they have no living memory of Babri Masjid, of it being a mosque, of it having been locked up. So for them, it was always a de facto temple, and that is what we have grown. Every issue, every divisive issue, whether it is love jihad, whether it is controlling population, every bit you can actually sit down and say that this has roots in the Ram Janmabhoomi Ayodhya agitation. That is what has happened, and over the next.
It started from there.
It started from there. Everybody started from there. That is how Gujarat started from there. The laboratory of Hindutva that we keep talking about.
Bombay riots has started from there.
Bombay riots, everything. After the demolition of the Babri Masjid, we saw the Mumbai blast in '93, March '93. We remember what happened at that time. So everything has some kind of a resonance going back to Ayodhya. That is the central theme of the BJP, and over the next few years, I see the majoritarian agenda becoming stronger. I was doing a calculation the other day. There are about 400 odd Lok Sabha seats where the BJP is today in a position, either in the number 1 position or in a very strong number 2 position. So, which,
400.
almost, I'm just saying plus minus, we
Almost.
can actually quibble over it, and people keep on pointing out that South India, but Karnataka is already with them. It has been with them for several decades, for more than 2 decades. The BJP has had a very significant presence in Karnataka. Virtually, Kerala and Tamil Nadu are the only states where I don't see very much potential for the BJP. Andhra Pradesh and Telangana appear that the BJP is gaining support, not yet very visible. In Odisha, even though the Biju Janata Dal is a very dominant party, but we do not know after the present leader Naveen Patnaik.
So you in short, you are pointing out that
I'm saying that
has national imprint, footprint. It is now virtually national footprint, except in pockets, and it's going to increase. And it has come through the politics of hate politics and Hindutva agenda.
Exactly.
And are you suggesting that this is going to continue and going to be more virulent, more forceful in times to come till Lok Sabha elections?
It is very difficult to project the future that the BJP will continue to win elections. But I definitely think that the politics which has been advocated by the BJP over the last 35 years, support for that is not going to decline. There is an increasing thinking among the people that this is our country, that the Muslims are welcome to stay here. They are welcome to continue to get all the access to all the welfare measures. Not just Muslims, but even the Christians, when it comes to that, the religious minorities are welcome to stay here, practice their faith, but they must accept the overall umbrella, protective umbrella of Hindu society that you have to consider. They keep on saying, the RSS leader keeps on saying, India is already a Hindu Rashtra. Mohan Bhagwat says.
They've been saying it.
So it is their way of that we can be a practicing Muslim, but you are also a Hindu at heart. So this is a very convoluted argument, and there is a greater support for that.
Nilanjan, you very rightly point out that majoritarian agenda will continue to dominate. That narrative is winning elections for them, and why should they go back? Can you specify? I mean, they have been conveying this agenda through messages, through signals like hijab, like personal law, like Ram Temple. So what could be the new signals that there will be? Will it be something like uniform civil code or whatever you think? What kind of new signals may come up now during the run-up to the Lok Sabha elections?
It's very difficult to say that what may come up. For instance, 2 months earlier, prior to December, we didn't know that the hijab issue is going to become such a nationally dominant issue, which is going to go up and become a next major judicial challenge for almost everybody in the country, even the secular groups in the country, besides, of course, the Muslim community, So we really do not know. Uniform Civil Code, yes, of course, remains on their wish list, but there are problems because there are, income tax protections which are available under the existing laws. So it would also affect various Hindu communities, a uniform civil code. So I don't see the BJP rushing into it. They'll keep on flagging it as an election issue, as a dog whistle, because the sense which is conveyed is we will bring in uniform civil code. Why? Because we want to control the Muslim. Essentially, the message which has to be conveyed is that the uniform civil code has to be there because there must be a common law for everyone. There has been a long narrative that there is an Islamist conspiracy to ensure that Hindus become a minority in this country. Muslims have this habit of, marrying too many women, having too many children. They keep on citing demographic data, which, is only
reining them in.
Reining them in, essentially that fixing the Muslims, they let them be on a tight leash.
For fixing the Muslim. Yeah. What about National Population Register? Could it be raked up as one of the major issues?
National Population Register, again, there have been problems in some of the BJP-ruled states. Assam, for instance, there has been, problems even from within the Hindu community. So I don't see them rushing into it, but they will keep on having these, bringing in law to control population measure. There has been a law in Andhra Pradesh, in Assam. There was a law. Uttar Pradesh has a pending, as far as that law is concerned, which was brought in by the Adityanath government. We'll have to see that what is the exact status of that. So I expect, various measures. I expect a certain amount of further talk on cow protection. They will look at various issues of the directive principles and say that, look, we are committed to the Constitution of India because they are very much part of the directive principles. So I see them raking up a lot of
Any
things.
attempt to change basic character of Constitution?
I don't think
some noises only in that direction.
They will. No, the basic character of the Constitution has already been changed to a certain extent. There has been a through the Citizenship Amendment Act. There was a basic, which is linking religion with citizenship. I think it violates the basic principle of tenet of the Constitution. There is a case pending on in Supreme Court, but there seems to be no hurry from the side of the judiciary to look into all these things.
Right.
So I think that our Constitution is a very ductile document. I am not a constitutional expert, but I see the BJP being able to find various ways in which it can be amended to suit Hindutva politics more and more. And that is what I think. So I don't think, I'm not one of those people who would say that they are going to change the Constitution. They will not. They will continue to evolve and amend this Constitution to suit their politics.
You are right. I remember Advani saying this long back, that there is no need to change the basic character of the Constitution.
They tried to do it during the Vajpayee government, but there was a major opposition to it, because somehow or the other, the Constitution is a very sacrosanct document. That is understood by Mr. Modi. That is why in 2014 he said that the Constitution is the only holy book and Parliament is the temple of Indian democracy. Now, these are all hollow words, but actually the temple of Indian democracy has been subverted, and the only holy book has been interpreted in the manner it suits the BJP.
So long and short of it, what you say is that Hindutva narrative will continue. It will be more and more shrill, possibly. But they have not been doing just that, Nilanjan. If you look at, they have been also doing the social engineering very successfully, co-opting lots of social groups which have not been very inclined towards Hindutva, but are increasingly accepting it. What do you think about it?
No, there definitely has been a problem, because this is about 100-year-old problem for the Hindutva groups, that there is caste fissure within Hindu community. The only way caste fissure can be broken, is by uniting the Hindus. The Hindu unity gets divided because of caste. That is why they very consciously work towards, the social engineering, working with the backward castes and the Dalit communities. But even now, the essence of Hindutva politics and the Sangh Parivar remains very stubborn in character. You have to understand. The media, for instance, I'll just take a minute, just 2 days ago, there was this, yesterday, in fact, the UP government was formed in which 52 ministers were sworn in. As many as 21 or 22 are from the upper castes. Now, the media tends to look at, there are so many from the OBCs, so many from the scheduled caste, but they don't look at the fact that there are 7 Brahmins, there are 6 Rajputs, and are they numerically proportional to their demographic strength? No, they are not. So essentially, RSS, BJP, and Hindutva politics remains Savarn or upper caste centric. So it will continue to be a major fault line, and they will continue to try to manage it.
But I'm sorry to interrupt, that this message is not going down, it seems, to the backward caste.
The message
they seem to be happy with the BJP Hindu narrative.
The message has not to be taken by you and me. The message has to be taken by the opposition parties. So I don't think the opposition parties are half as hardworking as the BJP leaders are.
True, you are true. Everybody is pointing out that. But even those social groups who are actually, the majority of, take the case of UP, the majority of those who died in COVID in Uttar Pradesh were either backwards or Dalits, yet they voted for the Adityanath government in the last elections. So
No, that is because, of the larger Hindutva narrative that essentially our problem is not poverty. The problem is with Muslims. You have to blame someone for all your miseries. So the BJP has very successfully conveyed that for all your problems, the root is the Muslim. So we sort out the Muslim, all your problems will be over. They are the ones who breed too much. They are the ones who eye our Hindu girls. They do all kinds of conspiracies. So we sort them out, we keep them, we fix them up. So everything will be hunky-dory.
And BJP alone can fix them up.
And BJP alone can do it.
And therefore you keep voting for them.
Exactly.
This is a successful point.
That is the message. And that has got accepted by people.
Another element that was recently, even earlier it was there, but it was very forcefully enforced during these assembly elections, was the state welfareism. Free ration, makan, all those kind of schemes. I think they also have some impact on, what do you think?
I don't think that we can call them welfare. Welfare is also not just economic welfare. Welfare is also political welfare.
Yeah.
I think what this government is doing very smartly.
Very interesting distinction you have made.
What this government is doing, they're just filling the bowl. They're giving charity. It's being a very charitable government. And they say that, look, we do not discriminate with Muslims against the Muslims when we are giving free gas cylinders and free ration. Everybody gets it. Yes, the Muslims are also getting it. And some of them are voting for the BJP. But Muslims are to be contented with that. They are not to come into Shaheen Bagh and protest. They are not to demand their rights. You are to be given what you are, handed over, what is given to you in form of charity. Don't ask for anything.
It is working.
It is working so far. Yes.
Yeah. And so they have perfected a sort of a winning agenda of Hindutva narrative coupled with social engineering and a bit of freebies, and it's working, and they're going to continue with this. You think?
Yes, it looks like the Yogi government, the second term, the first decision after taking oath yesterday was to extend the free rations for another 3 months. But I keep on arguing that the free rations will be the albatross around Mr. Modi and the BJP's neck for the next few years, because there is no way that this can be discontinued very easily without angering the people. In that case, I would like to see, will they be able to contain anger? With what will they do it? With a further escalation of social violence? I hope not.
You think some kind of a social violence if it at the end of the day road?
No, I don't see that these free rations can continue indefinitely, but I also do not see any economic initiatives being taken so that the dependence of people on free rations gets over. So what do? You have to stop it at some point. That is going to lead to an anger among people. So how do you contain the anger? You direct it against somebody else. You say that we are not responsible, they are responsible. So it's always the other who's responsible. This is what they have been doing for the last several decades.
If I ask you to sum up what you're saying, how would you sum up your narrative that you've just now told us? What is?
I think that they at the moment are on a winning curve. I'm not saying that this is a permanent curve. Every nation goes through various phases. And I think at the moment what we are seeing, that the Hindutva narrative being a dominating and a domineering idea in the country. But we do not know what future holds. Suddenly, there might be a dramatic change in the people, and they might actually start seeing through the BJP game.
That's a very bold statement that you have made. We do not know.
I hope so.
Where the future goes, but so far, and it looks like for time to come, sure, Hindutva narrative is going to dominate. Thank you so much, Nilanjan.
Thank you, Zafar.
Thanks a lot.